Everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Knit Chat. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend
Kelly.
We are a mostly knitting podcast. The podcast name is actually Knits and Pieces. We never say that. No. We're in the Knit Chat Cafe, but the podcast name is actually Knits and Pieces. So we are both coming to you this week from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. So welcome, everybody. We're glad you're all here and ready to share knitting and crafting and all the fibery things.
I think I want to go to Isabel's house in Quebec because she has a roast beef dinner on the table.
Oh, that sounds good. I haven't had supper yet, so that sounds amazing.
I had an egg. Okay. Roast beef sounds very good.
It does sound good. So yeah, so welcome everybody. We're glad that you're all here. This is our weekly
second week of the new year.
I know. It's
January is half over. Wasn't it New Year's Day yesterday? Like, really?
New Year's Day. It was like last year Christmas. Time just goes by so fast. So
hi, Irene, all the way from Norway. Norway.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to go to Norway. I'm so looking forward to going. The scenery just looks like absolutely spectacular. Mm-hmm. So really looking forward to it. So I'm sure I'll probably look at some yarn too.
No, you don't think so, do you?
I want to check out because people say you can actually buy like yarn in the train station. Mm-hmm. So I really want to check that out and see if it's actually true. It's just a fact-finding mission.
Yeah. You're not going to buy. You're just checking it out,
No,
right?
It's just fact-finding.
Yeah, it's just for investigation. Yeah. You'll report back, right?
Yeah, I will. So
okay.
A lot of people say they've been to Norway here and how nice it is.
Yes. We have somebody here from Finland.
Wow.
Goodness. What time is it there? What is the time difference going to be when you're in Norway?
Well, it's at least what it is in Britain, which I think is 5 hours. So I don't know. Anybody from Sweden or Norway here, let us know what time it is there.
Okay.
Lynn thinks that me not buying is pretty funny.
It's very funny. Yes. I think it is too. Victoria is wondering if something is going on with the feed.
It's 2 a.m. in Finland, and she thinks Norway is 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we're either going to have to adjust the time or...
Well, if it were me in Norway, I could keep up with that time, Noelle, but I know you cannot. So
I cannot. And a couple of hours from then, I'll be getting up for the day.
Yes. They are saying that, yes, it's 1 o'clock there.
1 o'clock, yeah.
And that's a great suggestion too. Somebody said, My Wonderful Knitting Life says you'll need to get a world map and scratch off the countries where we know that we have people tuning into the Knit Chat Cafe. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Yep. Yes. Yep. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I guess we should start out by saying, since it is a new year, this is kind of our informal weekly gathering. And if you have been with us for a while, you already know what to expect. You're hanging out here with us and we're talking about all the good yarny things. But if you're brand new here, then I encourage you, since it is alive and hopefully you can see all of this chatter that's happening down the right side of your screen, pick up your keyboard. Don't be shy. Jump right in, introduce yourself. And I feel like I have a derpy nose. Anyway, introduce yourself and chat along you'll make some new friends in here for sure. Everybody is extremely friendly and we have such a knowledgeable group of makers in here that if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. If Noelle and I miss the question, I bet somebody else in here can answer for us for sure. And that is not to say that we know everything either.
No, we get a lot of questions that we don't know the answers to from people. So that's why we bring it out to the group, because chances are somebody has an answer to it within the group. So
yes,
absolutely. And that way we learn too. So
for sure.
But
okay.
Yeah, so it seems like it was just last Tuesday and already it's a week later. So
I know. I can't believe that it's been a week since Tuesday, and I have not a lot to show for it. That's for darn sure. But I'm hoping. I did have something good happen today, though. I figured out that I can sew.
oh,
So I may
good,
not be
good.
able to do any knitting, but
Yep.
I did some sewing, and it was some fairly fine, detailed work of sewing as well. So
So
I
is
will
this
have
on your machine or hand sewing?
on my machine. So I found little snips that I can, because with this new brace, you can see, I'm trying to figure out the best way. The finger and the thumb do
Don't come together.
they do not go together. So it's extremely difficult to do things. And I am still crocheting, although very slowly. But since I don't have a thumb and a finger to hold the fabric with, I'm holding the fabric now in between these two fingers. It sort of looks like I'm using chopsticks now when I crochet. So it has to be on something bigger, that the tension is not
Yeah,
too tight. So, but anyway, I was really excited today that I could figure out that I could sew and that I can manipulate in and around my machine. So I started working on something, and I will have something to show you next week for sure. So
good, good,
I'm excited
good.
about that.
So yeah, and I actually am back driving.
Yes, you are.
So yeah,
We
so
met
we
yesterday.
met today, and I went to the coffee shop. So I've been out a couple of times driving. I have one pair of shoes that are big enough that I can get them on my foot.
Yes.
So, and I can't get Birkenstocks on. Unfortunately, here at the moment is definitely not Birkenstock weather. Like I would even wear the socks and Birkenstocks if there was no snow, but in the snow, it's just
Yeah, we are getting a little
a
bit of
little
snow
too
every
much.
day.
So
Yes.
yeah, so I'm happy about that. And I've actually been back on the stationary bike twice now, yesterday and
Mm-hmm.
today. So I just, when I do that, have to be sure to put it up, but then I can put it up and knit. So it's all good.
Okay.
So things are moving in the right direction for me and hopefully in the right direction for you too, Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
I start physiotherapy tomorrow. So I'm
yeah.
excited about that. I see Christina is joining us here. She's from Orange County, California. So she's about 50
Oh,
miles away from the fires. And before we get into the knitting, I just want to send out, I don't even know what, just a heartfelt
yep.
hug. We're thinking of you. It's a terrible tragedy that California is going through. So many homes lost, there are lives lost.
Yeah.
And it's, as much as we can say these are all material things, it doesn't matter. Those material
No,
things
that's
still
right.
mean something, and
Yep.
they're,
Well,
you
your
know,
whole life is
your whole
disrupted.
life is tied up
Yep.
in that home. And like for me, an analogy that I was talking to someone about is I've had my wallet stolen 2 times. Okay. And I know how much effort there goes into replacing all of the items in just a tiny little wallet.
Yeah.
So if you put that into the scale of an entire home of memories that you've
Yep.
curated and things in there that actually do mean things, there's like little things too that I've seen comments about, children losing their stuffies, things like
Yep.
that. Like these are big things to some person, and my heart just goes out to anybody that is impacted by that. I it's
I mean,
tragic
well,
to
we can't,
watch.
it is. It's like it's just it's unbelievable. And I mean, like when you were talking about your wallet, like at least those things you can get replaced fairly quickly. Like this
Yes.
is a whole life that
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
talking about replacing. And like, I mean, who knows how long it takes to rebuild or whether, I don't know.
And
It's
I'm
just,
sure, as I was telling you the other day, I have had a friend who lost their home in a fire, and they lost everything in that home. And she explained to me that it was even years later, you would, like, something would come to your
yeah,
mind, and you think, oh,
yeah,
I'll go get that. And then you're like, no, that's gone.
yeah.
So it is just a horrible thing for anybody to go through. And as I said, just our thoughts are with you. And I know that anybody can go on to any social feeds right now, and there's long lists of places that you can do something to help if you so choose. And but just please know that we are thinking of you.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Okay. So I have quite a few questions. So did you have any questions? It seemed like they all came at once.
No.
Okay.
We should say
I
too.
don't know the answers to these, so I'm just throwing out the questions. So
Okay. I should point out too, week after week, you always say you have all these questions. the questions we ask for you to send those in through email, and we try to divvy up the tasks in this podcast, and Noelle is the receiver of the email. So
Yes,
that's why it seems that every week she has such a multitude of questions. This is something that she takes care of, and I chime in where I can. So question away. Let's see what we can do with them.
The first one was not really one I wanted to have to deal with, but it's about moths. It's like a bad word in the knitting language.
Yes, moths, so as in MOTHS, moths. Yes. I thought you said moss at first. So
no, not moss. Moss is an okay thing. No, this is moths.
Yes.
So anyway, the question was just like, since both you and I do have a relatively large stash, how do we protect our stash? Mine is vacuum packed.
Yes.
So it's not only is it in plastic, but all the air is sucked out of it as well. And prior to doing that, and the reason that I went to that was more for space storage. But
be honest, it was not a moth issue.
But prior to that, I had it in like big bins, but inside the bin, the yarn wasn't just thrown in there. The yarn was still like kind of, if I had 5 or 6 skeins of something, it was within a plastic bag that I tried to squish as much of the air out as I could. So that's basically mine is. I've been pretty lucky. It's I really haven't had any problems, but I know that there's people that do.
We should also say that I don't really think we have a moth issue here in our area.
Well, I know you can get them, but it's more like a one-off kind of thing, and not so much. Like I know some places or some podcasters talking, it seems like where they're from, the whole moth situation is very prevalent.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But and how do you store yours, Kelly?
Mine are still in the big tote boxes. Some of it is in bags inside of the tote boxes, but honestly, it's just in the tote boxes. And it's something that I think about, I've never had an issue, but I do think about it sometimes. I think, gosh, if there was ever a moth that made its way in and took out a tote box of yarn or something, that would be tragic too. But it's not something that we have had an issue with in this area. Lena is asking.
Go ahead.
Lena is asking if your vacuum seal over time, does it affect the fluffiness of your yarn?
Well, I've only actually done that in
the last about a year, right?
Yeah. But so far I haven't found anything. And most of the times I feel like you take the yarn out and you let it sit for a little while and it pretty much fluffs back up. So no, I haven't had a problem with that. Now, Sarah's saying that she has had, she said she just ripped out a moth-eaten sweater. And Sarah only lives an hour from us.
Okay, well, maybe they are here. Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, a mouse.
A mouse, yeah. Lena had a mouse who decided to have a litter in her wool stash. Well, my goodness, if you were a mouse and you made it into a house that had a yarn stash, wouldn't that be the most awesome place to hang out?
Well, I'm pretty sure they can't get through my up to my second floor and then in through my vacuum packed bags, hopefully.
Hey, that's not true. If they can get their head through something, they can pull their body through.
Yeah. I think the thing is too, if you've got it kind of separated and you do have it in like separate bags. So if you do get something, it might tend to keep it in one area as opposed to if you just have everything out on shelves and it can get into the whole thing. Yes. And I know what a lot of people do too, like say they get yarn from a D-stash or something that they're not quite sure, how the yarn was stored or whether there's going to be any problems. A lot of people throw it in the freezer for like a couple of weeks, and that supposedly will kill any moth eggs that might be in your in it. So, just if it's somewhere where you're not sure where the yarn came from, and instead of just putting it into your stash, maybe just taking a little bit of precaution and doing that first.
Right. So. And Mary Ruth is saying that they feed birds. So do we, Mary Ruth. And she said that there have been moths that have come in the feed. Agree. Okay. I've seen that as well. Our feed is kept in a separate building on our property, like in my husband's garage, actually. And it's not attached to the house. So there's no way that they can make it in from there. Because I have seen that too. And that's been concerning. And I've thought before, oh, are those the kind of moths? Because it's only a certain kind of moth too
Yeah.
that will go
Well,
after the wool. And
yeah,
I don't
it's
know
a
what kind
clothes
that
moth.
is. Yes.
They're actually not very big.
No, they're
They look
tiny,
kind
right?
of, yeah. I saw one once in a yarn store. I had to buy. This was out east, and I just like I bet Ross, get me out of here. I have to go home and disinfect myself. It's just like it was scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
I guess the other reason or the other way that we could combat moths, it's just not having such a large stash. But then, you know,
well,
that's just hilarious, right?
it's too late for that.
Too late for that.
So okay. Next question was how do you choose a bind off for a particular project, whether it be a sock, a sweater, cowl, you know, whether or not to use a stretchy bind off. I don't have any hard fast set rules. I have a favorite bind off right now that I like, and that's the one that mimics a sewn bind off, but you don't have to measure out yarn. It will work for a 2x2 and a 1x1 rib. For the 2x2 rib, you kind of have to rearrange your stitches a bit, similar to what you would have to do if you were doing a tubular bind off. A lot of times I will look at what the pattern calls for first and see if I think that's going to be okay, because a lot of times you want your bind offs on all the edges to match if you're doing a sweater or a garment. So yeah, I don't have any hard, fast rule. I don't like the super stretchy bind off because I think it kind of flares
out a bit. Yeah.
So I don't know. How do you decide, Kelly?
I rotate between, you know, my tried and true favorites. And if I'm looking for something specific, then I'll go down a deep tunnel on YouTube and see what I can find. But I'm kind of with you. I think both you and we use a lot of similar methods, right? So yeah, I would say that's how. I have certain ones that I really like for socks.
But we tend to do top-down socks, so you're not really running into that
more
problem. A
often
lot of time people run into it if you're doing toe-up socks, because you need to make sure that bind-off is stretchy enough to be able to get over your whole foot, your ankle, and up your leg. A lot of people find that the tubular is not quite stretchy enough for that. But I say if you're doing a tubular or you're doing the one that I use, go up needle sizes when you're doing it.
Can you remember the name of it? Size. The one that you're talking about?
No, but I will find it. I don't know the name of it. I will find it and I will put it in the show notes for this week.
Okay.
But I really do like it. So yeah, so you know, and much as I say I don't like the way the super stretchy bind off, I think is it Jenny's or
Jenny's surprisingly stretchy.
Jenny's or Judy's. I'm not sure who. One has a bind off and one has a cast on.
Judy is the cast on. Jenny is the cast off. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And much as I say it flares, if you're doing a toe-up sock and you put that on, you can't see that.
No, you can't.
So it's only
looks very
the look
good
of the sock
when
you
it's on.
see
Yes.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
okay. Kathy also says that moths hate lavender. So
yes,
putting lavender stashes in lavender sachets in your stash, get it out, could be helpful as well.
And one thing to say about that too is you do need to refresh them every once in a while. But you can get lavender essential oil and kind of just like I make I do put those in with my sweaters, like the little lavender sachets. So, but they do lose the scent after a while. And I believe it's the scent that they don't like. So you can actually go back and refresh it with some lavender essential oil.
Right.
Okay, so Kelly, I'll let you take the next question because I know you really like fingerless mitts. So what are your favorite patterns for fingerless mitts?
For color work, the hedgerow.
Yeah, we've both done those.
Yes, and that's Marianne Stevenson. I love that pattern. Other ones that fit really well that I've been wearing this year, of course, the Riptide by Jennifer Shields Tolan. They fit really well too. They're a good fit, cozy fit. That's in a worsted weight. The hedgerow is a fingering weight. The other one, I haven't done them yet, but they look like they are a great fit. And now the name has just run out of my head. Was it the Pioneer? No, it's something, but they're like a 3x1 rib. Julia's made them.
Okay.
Julia, help me out, Julia. She's in here. She'll give me a name in a second, but I know that they're a really good fit as well. They are a 3x1 rib, and as much as we may not always like doing the 3x1 rib, we both agree that it's a great fit on a hand. So that's a good one for sure. And
like I tend to like fingering weight ones better, because because if I need like a heavier weight one, most likely I'm going to have a full pair of mitts on. But we saw Carrie on the weekend, and she had a really good idea. She actually puts a pair of fingerless mitts over top of a regular pair of gloves, and then you've got extra warmth all around here. So that's always a good idea too. So
yeah. Okay. Thank you, Helen. Helen corrected me. It wasn't the Riptide mitts that I was talking about. I was talking about the Hudson Ripple, the ones that I made to match my hat. I've been wearing those a lot. And Julia says that the ones I'm talking about is called Everything November. And they look like they're a really good fit. I like a fingerless mitt that comes right down to like just above the tip of the pinky. And I definitely like them to have a thumb. I've done a couple of pairs that don't have a thumb. They just have that opening. And I'm not so much a fan because my thumbs get cold. So I like them to have a thumb, like, and I will knit my thumbs all the way down, like to the top of that thumbnail, so that they're pretty cozy. Yeah.
Last week we were talking about shaving your sweater and gleaning your sweater. Someone suggested a sweater stone. I have never seen a sweater stone. I don't know how it works, so I can't speak to whether it works or not. Does anybody in here? I think I saw one advertised someone, but it looks like a pumice stone, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. Has anybody in here used a sweater stone? And if so, did it work? So I can't say I would recommend it because I don't really know what it is. I've never tried it. Yeah. So we'll keep watching for the chat there and see if anybody's actually ever used one.
Okay. There's a couple of other mitts and fingerless mitts. This is a mouthful. The Benevolent Muffetees by Bunny Muff Designs for colorwork mitts and fingerless mitts, says Alice. And then we didn't mention, but I know that I'm sure we've both made them, is the World's Simplest Mitts by Tin Can Knits. That's a free pattern, and it's a good opportunity to use their Tin Can Knits app, and you can modify that to fingerless mitts.
Okay, Jeannie's saying that the stones actually work better on woven fabric than on knits for her. So, okay, another question was, again, back to bind offs, but it was how to bind off when you've got cables. Because the cables, obviously, when you go up into a pattern, the cable kind of brings it in. But if you're, let's say you're knitting down and you get to the bottom and you've done the cables and then you've got 3 or 4 more rows before you bind off, if you bind off that cable regularly, it is going to flare out a little bit because there's more stitches there than what the stitches are in the rest of your fabric. And I thought I should look at what I'm wearing, but mine doesn't. And I do believe that actually when I did this one, there were decreases once you'd kind of finish those final cables to bring that back in again to the width of the cables.
Fair enough.
So I would say, you'd probably, if you've got a 4-stitch cable, you'd probably want to bring it in by at least 1 stitch. Like, so you'd have a knit 2 together somewhere in there, because if you leave it all straight, it is going to look like it flares out a bit. So now you could do that. You could do that either on a row before you do it, or you could actually do it on your bind off row. If you're doing just a regular bind off, instead of the knit 1 before you pass the stitch over, you would just do a knit 2 before you pass the stitch. I'm having a problem with words tonight. So you can pass the stitch over. So, and obviously the bigger your cable, the more stitches you're actually going to have to decrease to get that to kind of look like not flaring out at the bottom of your item. So, okay. And Lauren says that Suzanne Bryan and Roxanne Richardson both have YouTube's videos about binding off with cable. So I suggest checking out something like that. They'll probably be able to give you a better idea of how much you need to decrease, or a way that you can do it so that it avoids that flaring at the bottom. So, okay. Oh yeah. Someone wants to know how many hand knit sweaters we have. A lot. A lot. Do you want us to count them? Do you want to count them? Do I want to count them?
You have a lot more than I do. I know that.
I gave a lot away last year, though. I gave a lot away. Okay.
Yeah, but then you've knit a
Okay.
bunch more this year.
Yes,
so.
I have. Okay, that's okay.
Is that homework?
That's a homework for next week.
Okay.
So, and wait, I'm gonna make it. You have to break it down into pullovers, cardigans, short sleeve tees, summer tops, and vests.
That's a spreadsheet. Okay.
Well.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, homework for next week. I better star that so I don't forget.
Okay.
So that I'm not going at 5 to 7 next week going, how many sweaters do I have? Okay.
All right, I can do that.
Okay, and the next question was about, oftentimes we talked about sweater math and changing a size that you're knitting because you like the fabric better at a different size.
Right.
So if you do that.
At a different gauge. Yeah.
Yes, if you're going to knit it at a different gauge, how do you determine how much yarn you need?
Okay.
I just cross my fingers and hope I've got enough.
Yeah. There's that.
If you go, let's say you go up a size because your gauge is tighter.
Yes.
You're going to have more stitches. However, those stitches are not going to take up the same amount of yarn because you're on a smaller needle.
That's right.
Okay.
So you may not necessarily need the yarn that it calls for in the larger size, but.
No, but you still wouldn't want to be,
Nobody wants to be short.
I guess for me, I've knit enough sweaters that I pretty much know in each gauge how much I'm probably going to need for a sweater.
2 skeins for you, two.
Well, for some of them, not all of them. Actually, I might have just.
This is a 2 skein sweater, for instance. Yeah, I guess that's when you've knit enough sweaters. You're right.
Oh wait, Alice says rip back your swatch and measure it.
Well, you could do that too.
Yeah, so that would tell you how much is in a. But I still don't know that would tell you how much to. Because you don't get that information in a pattern. You don't get that information to say, in a 4-inch swatch, you should use this amount of yarn or this yardage of yarn.
Yeah. The thing is, basically, so like if it told you that you needed 3 skeins and then you adjust it, chances are you're still unless you're doing like a massive adjustment, which most times when we're doing our sweater math and we're adjusting, we're not making much of a difference. We're talking about it being like a stitch out in your gauge, but hey, I like that fabric, so I'll accommodate for that and I'll go up 1 size or I'll go down 1 size, right? So you're not making, we're not talking about 2 or 3 skeins difference or even a skein difference likely. So if I just make sure, I know basically what I need for fingering weight for a sweater, I know what I need, and that's just kind of comfortable after knitting enough sweaters to know. The one that I'm often not that I'm not quite right, but the one that I'm the most unsure about is the DK weight. And fingering weight, I know a sweater really easy. In worsted, I can calculate that. It's the DK that often throws me off because it looks like it should have so much more yardage, and it just kind of messes with my head if I'm just shopping on the fly. So that one I do have to do a little bit of thinking about when I'm just out buying. But other than that, I think each of us have made enough sweaters that we kind of know what we use, right?
Okay. So
and often, we're buying cones from wholesale a lot of times, and we know that we've cut a couple 3 sweaters in those cones. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So Lorianne says that she uses Stashbot to give her an estimate of how much yarn is used with that type of sweater and the number of stitches per inch. So, but she also says she usually has 2
extra balls. So I think Stashbot's probably not a great calculator either.
Well, maybe I don't know if she means that's what she's got left over.
Okay.
From a regular sweater, I'm not sure, but you definitely want to have more yarn than not enough. I know we don't like to have yarn left over, but at the same point, you don't want to run out of yarn and then find out it's either discontinued or you can't get that dye lot and I do for most of the things that I knit. I don't know if anybody else finds any differently. I usually find that I always have yarn left over from what the pattern called for.
You just got out of your homework for next week.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean there could be stuff in there.
Isabel says, according to Ravelry, Noelle has 73 cardigans, 108 pullovers, 4 jackets, and 10 vests.
Thanks, Isabel. Yeah, but I've given some of those away. Remember, I don't have all of those anymore.
Okay. And you know what? Also, a lot of that is sample knitting.
And yes, a lot of that was sample knitting. And I think
and a lot of, and you have 7 grandchildren now too.
Exactly. So.
Oh, and Kelly has much less. Kelly has 10 cardigans, 33 pullovers, and 4 vests. So you see, I'm still trying to catch up.
So we're still counting. You're still counting.
Still counting.
It's not divided into summer tops and.
Isabel, you're hilarious.
Yes. Thanks for doing that, Isabel.
Yeah, thanks, Isabel.
Okay.
There was this question that popped in, and I wanted to share this because I equally feel a little bit bad for her. So Susan says she has a question. She was knitting at her grandson's hockey game, and she only knits before or after the game, but she said her husband and her daughter think that she is crazy. And is there any other family that think this way, or any other friends? Okay. So I feel bad because I think we should be able to knit wherever we want to knit, Susan, but also I think it takes a while to get there to that comfort level. And why I say that is because I know that myself several years ago, 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, even, I probably wouldn't have been hauling out my knitting everywhere I went in public, because I did feel that, you know, it's something that I did at home. And I also didn't want people to think that my focus is not on them, that it's on something that I'm sitting here working. It's like not the same thing as like being on your phone scrolling through social media. I can be actively knitting and very actively engaged in everything that's going on. I could knit in meetings and things like that. So I've gotten a lot better about feeling more comfortable knitting in public. And I do agree there is safety in numbers, because when I'm with a little group of people and we're all knitting, I could care less who looks at us knitting. But there are times if I'm out with friends who are not knitters that I will sometimes think, I don't know if I should be pulling out my knitting in front of them. But I do have a fair few friends now that are well understanding of what I do with my hands, and they're completely fine with me knitting, and they would never think anything of it. So, but definitely, Susan, I think you should be knitting at hockey games. Like, I think that is a prime place to be knitting.
Yeah.
Don't knit during the game. Keep your eyes on that puck. Nobody needs to get hit by a puck at a hockey game, but definitely before and after the game, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we were talking a little bit about handspun and how to use your handspun. So we did have a comment that said, like, and I should have said this last week, but I don't swatch. So, but it is a good idea. If you swatch it, you will get a good idea of how that yarn's going to even out, because even oftentimes you'll knit with a yarn that kind of looks thick and thin, but when you start to knit with it, especially if you're knitting at a tighter gauge, it will actually even out. So with your handspun, and if you're not sure what you want to do with it, it is a good idea to do a swatch. I might not do that, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good idea.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't.
No, that's right. And I probably should, but I don't.
Yeah.
But sometimes with some yarns that I'm not familiar with, I do. But with any yarn, you're going to get a better idea of how it's going to work for you if you actually swatch it. So, I mean, I do believe that truly, but I'm willing to rip back if it's not what I like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I also had a comment, and I will link this in the notes. It was about the ladder back jacquard and what tutorial I use. And I always use the tutorial by Suzanne Bryan. So I will link that in the notes. Ladder back jacquard is a technique that's used if you're doing stranded color work and you have long runs of stitches where you have to carry your contrast yarn in behind. It tells you how to catch that yarn without bringing it through so that you can see it in the front side of your fabric. So,
yeah.
Okay, and we talked last week about, we were talking about the Lantern Moon cables.
Yes.
So I guess Artisanthropy, that's in Whitby, Ontario. They carry them. There was another place too that someone told me, I think it was called Lovely Yarn. But if you're looking for them, just like in your Google search bar, just type in like lantern moon needles and wherever you're from. And most often it will bring up any yarn stores or any places in the area that you can actually get those items from. That's what I usually do. And I've usually had good luck with it.
Yeah.
And we also talked last week about washing and drying your socks and whether to be precious with them or not. And I did have a lot of people say, more so with their commercial socks, that they put them in the washer and dryer. And people that have had no problem with any sock yarn. And to that, I just want to say everybody's washer and dryer are different.
Is different.
So
and our water is different too from place to place. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, because my daughter-in-law actually brought over a sock for me just to repair a little tiny piece of it. And her sock, and I know they put them in the washer and dryer, it looks so much better than ones I put in the washer and dryer, because I think my washer is hard on clothes.
Okay, yeah.
And I think my dryer might be a little bit on the warm side. So, you have to go by what your own appliances, how they treat your fabrics. So
for sure.
And then we had talked a little bit about what we were talking about. We were talking about a long tail cast on, the alternating cable that mimics and whether you could do it with a long tail. So there apparently is a tutorial by Denise, who is Earth Tones Girl. And it is how to cast on a combination cast on. I haven't looked at the tutorial, but I'm going to link it. So if you want to take a look at it, and supposedly this works for any multiple of rib that you're doing, whether it be 1x1, 2x2, 3x1. So I will link that in the show notes so you can take a look at it. And we talked about magic loop ladders last week too. Yes. Denise apparently also has a tutorial on how to avoid those ladders when you're using magic loop.
Right. There was something that when we were talking about that cast on last week, I didn't think about it then, and I thought about it after the fact. Something you can do too, if you have a lot of stitches to cast on with a long tail cast on, and you don't want to run the risk of not having enough yarn and having to start over, because nobody enjoys doing that. The one thing that you can do as well, you can, if you have like, say a skein like this, right? A cake, you can use the outside and the inside thread. All that you do, super easy to do. You take the one from, depending on which one you normally knit with. So I normally knit from the outside because I don't like the ball to collapse, right? So anyway, you take from the middle, you take from the outside, make a slip knot. You're going to get rid of the slip knot. So don't count it as your first stitch. And then just using from that slip knot, you start. So you know how you make like that Y on your finger to do your long tail cast on. So one will come from the middle, one will come from the outside. Cast on all the stitches that you need to cast on. When you get to the end of what you've cast on, in my case, since I don't knit with the inside, that would be the one that I cut. And then I just carry on knitting from the outside. When I get back to that slip knot, throw it off the needles. Nothing is going to unwrap. Just throw it off the needles and carry on knitting. So that's a really, a super easy way to do your long tail cast on and not have to calculate how much yarn.
Yes, I know, because that always drove me crazy if I had too much left.
Right?
So.
Yes. Okay. So before we leave this little section, I just want to say how much support has popped into the comments for knitting in public. And even this one made me laugh. We've got Heather in here who said this. She even knit while she was at an Elton John concert. And here's what I have to say about that. Ultimately, wherever the place is that you are there for whatever reason. So in Heather's case, she was at Elton John because she loves Elton John, obviously, right? And wants to go to a concert. And if knitting brings her joy and listening to Elton John brings her joy, seriously, how much more joyful could you be than being at an event, doing what you truly love with your hands? It's not bothering anybody. Why should anybody care anyway?
Exactly.
And I just say, just keep knitting in public, knit in public, and just get over the feeling. There are so many people that do things in public that should not be done in public, and knitting is the least of those sins. Let me tell you that. So just,
the thing is, you do it all the time, and then you go somewhere and you don't have it. People are, well, where's your knitting?
Right. Yeah. And every purse, most purses. And I'm also not saying don't be carrying along that project that needs 3 dozen charts and it's,
but
heavily cabled and you're sitting
yeah,
there like intense. Bring something that is easy stockinette knitting that you can do, or just like something that's an easily memorizable pattern. And if that keeps you calm and it adds to your enjoyment, if it enhances the spirit, like for some people, like this was a thing for me. So to be in a restaurant and to be with a friend and to have a glass of wine, that I would so enjoy that glass of wine, right?
mhm,
But then I might think, okay, that's a great wine. I'm going to go to the liquor store and buy that. And then I'll go and buy it. And then when I've had it at home, it didn't taste the same. And I'm like, I really enjoyed it that night. And when
yeah,
you think back on it, what I really enjoyed was the camaraderie of being with somebody that I was having a nice time with. And that glass of wine just tasted really nice because I was enhanced and enjoying the experience. So if knitting adds to your enjoyment of whatever situation you are in, whether it be a great situation or not a great situation, like having to sit and wait for something, just do what brings you joy
yeah.
and get that knitting out.
Well, I know, like I brought mine places and you take it out and you start knitting and you'd be surprised at the people that go that, oh, I should have brought knitting. I should have brought mine that never thought of doing it before.
Yeah, and I will never forget this one. I've said this on here before, but I will not forget it. Being on an airplane and knitting, because I would never be on an airplane and not be knitting. So I'm on the airplane and I'm knitting. And then having the attendant stop by and said, I love it when somebody in my section is knitting. Everybody around you is just instantly calmer. So you see, you're
There we
bringing joy
go.
not
That's
only to
right.
yourself, but those around you.
Yes. Yes. Okay. We should probably move on.
We should.
Okay. So how about we talk about what we're wearing?
Sure, let's do that. Let's see,
Okay.
I don't really have any knitting to show, so I'm happy to just sit here and chat and chat and chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you can chat about what you're wearing.
Okay. All right. I am wearing you've got it. Okay. The Heartwarmer Tee by Justina Lorkowska. And I love this sweater. I do have a couple of pictures. This is
got 'em.
not one of the ones that I have any pictures of me actually wearing it. And that's usually something that I haul Mike out to do. But for whatever reason, this one didn't get done. But I love this sweater because it's kind of like that sampler project that
Mhm.
you do. There's a lot going on. I've got a little bit of a close up here so you can see there's bobbles, but not like big bobbles. This is a fingering weight sweater. There's a little bit of lace work. There's some ribbing in there, but there's lots of detail to keep the sweater interesting. And probably one of the things that I like most about it is the color. It is
Yeah,
the
it's gorgeous.
most glorious shade of a raspberry. And I knit this. I have one full skein left because this was a thing. I bought 3 skeins. I used 2 and the teeniest bit of the third. So I probably could have squeaked it out in 2 skeins. It is a crop sweater, but however, I had one left over. So then when we were there last year, I thought, well, can't have 1 skein. What good is 1 skein? So then I did buy another one. So now I've got 2
Yeah.
skeins
Knitter
again.
math. I have one left over, so I need another one.
Need another one, right? But this is the Sonder Yarn Sunday Morning 4-ply, which is 75% BFL and 25% Massam. So the Massam is like where you see like these little bits of the darker fibers. That's the Massam. And it is gloriously soft. I love the twist of this yarn and the color. The color is Free Spirit. And Noelle has that color in another base, and the dye takes differently to every
Yeah, it
base, as we
does.
know.
Yep.
But I honestly love
Yep.
this yarn. And I love this sweater. I love this color. I feel really good in this color. And I think it's a color that is complementary to a lot of skin tones. And I really like it.
Yeah,
So
it's a nice color.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. I am wearing this is, oh, I just got to change it here. This is the Glacier Ridge by Jennifer Wood. So this was done in, and unfortunately the yarn's not available anymore, but it was Roots and Rain Storm DK, which is a Corriedale Merino blend. And it is dyed naturally with lac logwood. So this was, I think we got a couple of years ago in Halliburton. So this sweater
You
is,
cast on that weekend.
pardon me. Yes,
And
I
you
cast it on that weekend. I did.
Yeah.
So this particular DK has really good yardage. It had 350 meters in a 100-gram ball. So it took me 2.51 skeins. Now, normally in a DK weight sweater, I would buy at least 4.
Mhm.
So for this one, because of the makeup of the yarn and it's a woolen spun, which a woolen spun tends to fill in better, then it takes, you have more yardage in a ball, but you still get kind of like the same stitch gauge as if you had a worsted spun yarn.
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's
yes.
light too. It's a very light,
Yes, it is.
airy fabric that it creates
Yep.
too. It's gorgeous.
So I did the second size, which finishes at 35.5. And the modification that I made was the pattern doesn't show on the sleeves in the sweater. So I saw someone else on Ravelry had brought the pattern down into the sleeves, and I really liked the look of that. So I put it in there. It's got a nice rib section that goes around the back with the cables in it. And it's a beautifully fitting sweater. Like it's got kind of like the contiguous sleeve a little bit up here, and just fits really nice on your shoulders. It was well written, easy to follow. Like I've got lots more of Jennifer Wood's patterns in my favorites, and I really need to cast another one on.
And the V sits at a good place too.
Yeah, it's a good,
not too low. It's
no,
like a really nice sweater. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So thank you. Okay. So Kelly, did you finish anything? Sorry, I have to ask.
Yeah. Just like sorry. Yesterday we met at the I just have to out you on this one. So we were talking about these slippers that I've been thinking about getting, and the glare up slippers. And I'm like, I don't know. I just don't feel like paying $110 for a pair of slippers that I don't have to leave my house. And she said, well, they're your feet. You know, it's your feet. You need to take care of your feet. And I said, yeah, but there's slippers. And she says, well, she goes, Julia made those really nice knitted felted slippers. You can knit some of those. Oh no, I forgot. You can't knit. And I said, you're such a good friend. Such a good friend.
Well, I didn't want you to go buy yarn and then go, oh, wait. I can't knit them.
Darn. What was I thinking? I can't knit.
That's right.
You're hilarious.
Jeez, try to help out, friend.
Oh, yeah. Try to help. With friends like Noelle, you know?
Well, just normally that's what I would say, because you could knit them. And then I forgot. No, you can't knit them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I did finish something. Good. Even though yesterday I told you I had nothing finished. I thought I have to finish something.
Yes.
So
yes.
I finished my Dunes cardigan. And
good. I want to see this.
Love it. I love it.
Oh, it looks amazing.
So it's not, I only did a quick steam. I got a steamer for Christmas. This is the first time I've used it. So I just kind of did a quick steam, but I am going to give it a full block. Yeah. I love it. It fits perfectly. It's
beautiful.
I'm so happy with it. So this is done in, okay. How do you say it again? On air.
Yeah, on a rock air. On a rock air. Yeah.
On a rock air Newton in the colorway yarn Via, I believe was the color. Mm-hmm. And it is held with Ito Sensei is the silk mohair that it's held with. So the silk mohair was the color Coke. So it took 154 grams of the Newton. Mm-hmm. So and then it took 60 grams of the mohair. So this sweater weighs like 210 grams. It's
very
just
light.
Weighs nothing. This was my first time working with an unspun yarn. You do have to be gentle and
patient.
And but you know what? I honestly enjoyed the experience knitting with it much more than I thought I would. I'm ready to cast on another one with the Newton. And I mean, look at like 154 grams, and I know it's going to be warm, and it's light and airy. This pattern, I really like this pattern. Now, the pattern actually calls for a 15 or 16 stitch gauge. I swatched my fabric, and this is one that I actually did do a swatch for. It was one strand of the knitted and one strand of the mohair. So with that, I got about an 18 stitch gauge. So I had to actually switch sizes that I was doing. So I actually went up and did a size medium to get the measurements of a size extra small.
Okay.
So, and it worked out perfectly. I haven't measured across, but I will measure across to see how close I am. So that meant every size of needles that I was using, I had to go down a full size from the pattern, which meant this band that went all the way around was knit on a 3mm needle. Like I found that was a little bit more challenging to do. So,
okay.
But it really brings the sweater together nicely, like the way the band's finished up. And yeah, I like I said, it was a really well-written pattern and I enjoyed knitting it. So
would you like to knit another one? Because I really like it. And, you know, I can't knit right now. I have yarn.
I can't knit right now.
I think a good friend would knit an injured friend a sweater. Doesn't everybody agree? I think a good friend would knit a friend a sweater. What if I don't have something new to knit by Knit City? What if, you know,
well,
my goodness.
We'll talk about that when it gets closer to Knit City. One other modification that I made was I did the rib long.
Oh, like I like that. I really like that.
So that I could turn it totally up like this and have a. So the rib, my rib is 8 inches long.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't fun to knit, but I really, really like it. So, yeah.
Wow.
So that's the only finished object that I have. Okay.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you. Do you have any whips? You do have whips. I know that.
Yeah, I do, but not anything.
Well, Kelly, you have tons of good friends in this group. Maybe someone out here will knit one for you.
Oh, maybe.
So
Sarah knits a lot, you know. Anyway, I have the same whip that I had last week. I have done very little on it. I'll show you what I'm doing. This is I'm using the pattern from the, hold on, get to the banners, from the Valia Cowl by Heidi May. And I just basically used the stitch pattern. Oh, I left it in the bag unattended. I should put a stitch marker on it. I'm not used to crocheting. I just leave things willy-nilly. But anyway, okay. So I'm using the stitch pattern and I'm just doing a shawl. So I've done, honestly, maybe like another 16 or 18 rows on it. It's just hard. It's hard for me to maneuver, but I mean, it's definitely getting bigger. It's 2 worsted weight. I should have been done that in a couple of days, right? But anyway, I love it. I love this pattern and it's very easy crochet. That's weird. What does it need attention?
it's what?
I just got this message from my, okay, maybe it'll go away. From my, oh, heck. Anyway, the protects your software protector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that says it needs to be renewed. And I'm like, right now it needs to be. But anyway, so yeah, this is just 2 skeins. It's the Rambouillet by Gaynor Homestead, and they are small flock here in Southern Ontario. And this one is called Bala Rock. So it's a marl. And then this one is Sleepy Sheepdog. And I love these colors together. I like this marl. I like the way it's working up. I think it has a nice contrast. This is unbelievably soft.
Soft, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing their wool. I don't know that they were at Woodstock last year. And I think somebody mentioned that
we weren't there. We weren't there, so we don't know.
Yeah, but I did go on to their website this week just to see. Like, I had bought that a couple of years ago and I've been kind of hanging on to it, waiting for a really perfect project. I knew they would go together. And
yeah, the colors look really good together.
The colors do look really good. And I know I'll get a lot of use out of it. But even on their website, I didn't see that they had any yarn for sale. So hopefully they're still going to do something, because I've bought quite a bit of yarn from them and I'm really happy with everything I have. So, okay.
So, my first whip is my sock. So this is my first gift sock for 2025. So this is the Albert de Montserrat by Kuo Coffee. So this is a man size sock. So it's actually 72 stitches for the cuff, but then you actually increase to 84 stitches for all around here. After the heel flap and gusset, I decreased so that the sole of the foot would have 36, which equates to a 72 stitch sock, but then I've still got the 42 stitches across the front. So I've got the pattern repeat in it is 2 sections of 14. So I think I'm going to do another, like it's about another inch and a bit before I start into the toe. So these cables and the way this pattern is really pulls the yarn up. So it seems like it's not only is it a whole lot of stitches around, it seems like it's taking a lot longer to get the length from it. But I really do like the way it's knitting up. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I am doing it in West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. This is the nutmeg colorway. And this yarn, the West Yorkshire Spinners in the solid colors, is a perfect yarn for showing off texture in socks. So, and it does actually feel really nice. And I know I've done quite a few pairs of West Yorkshire Spinners, and I find that the yarn does hold up quite well. So that's my first whip. And I'll just show socks here first. So the second, I was doing another pair of socks. This is my pair of socks that I started just for having to take to the coffee shop, because it didn't seem like I had stuff that was just like plain knitting or that was small enough to take.
But then you wanted to keep knitting on them.
But then I didn't. I've only done it at the coffee shop. So So this is Scrumptious Pearl Stripe Me Up. The colorway is My Ranch, My Rules, I think. And I'm just doing, it's a 3x1, but I'm doing it cabled. Well, this is 72 stitches, and I actually thought it would be for Ross, but I got Ross to kind of try it on, and it's too tight. It's too tight because of all the cabling in it. So I put it on me, and it fits me perfectly. So, oh darn, they're going to be.
Oh darn.
So what I will do again on this is when I get to the part where I do the heel or I haven't decided what kind of a heel I'm going to do yet, but I will decrease for the sole. I'll actually probably do a heel flap and gusset, and I'll decrease so that I've only got 32 stitches on the sole of the foot. And then I'll decrease again before I do the toe. But I'm really liking the striping pattern in it. It is true. Like the stripes are just so addictive. You just want the next one in there, and just putting the little repeat I've only done, it's like an 8-row repeat. So you only actually cable on every 8th row. And it's just like a cross, but it's a 1/2 cross instead of a 1/1 cross. And then when I do the other sock, I'll reverse it so that the cross is going the other way.
Right. So it looks great. I love that color.
And I'm doing them on flexi flips. So I do really like the flexi flips. I mean, I like the 16-inch circs too, but
I don't know. You and those flexi flips, I don't know how many times on Saturday
I dropped it a lot.
They were hitting the floor. I have never, I shouldn't say I've never, but in all the socks that I've knit with them so far, I don't remember throwing them to the floor as much as you do. I don't know what you do.
Well, it's because I've been going back and forth, and I've been using the 16-inch, which I don't have to grab onto at the end of it because it's in the, but then I go back to the flexi flips, I forget, oh yeah, that needle's going to fall if you.
Good. Petra says that she is copying you, and she is doing a Lord of the Rings sock for each of her family members, and she has 13. So fairly close to the same size as you for a family. And she just finished the Aragorn socks. She said it was quite the challenge, but
the Aragorn ones were, but you know what? They look amazing. Like like when Ross has them on, I look at them and just think, wow, they really, I want those ones for me.
Did you get your second sock finished?
No, everybody else has socks, but I don't. So they will get on my needle soon because I will be able to wear them soon.
Yes. Okay.
So, okay. Do you have another whip?
No, nothing else that I worked on. I'm the cardigan. Since it's fingering weight, that is too fine for me, and finger weight and color work. So that is too fine of a crochet hook for me to delve into. Yeah, I can't do that until we'll see. We'll see this week how physio's going.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's only Tuesday.
That's right. Okay. So my next whip is the Storm Slipover Junior by Petite Knit. hard to believe, but Declan's going to have his first birthday, like
oh my
on
gosh.
the 24th of January. So here's a picture here of what it looks like. So it's a little slip over. The pattern goes from a size 1 all the way up to a size 14. And it's just like an all over kind of similar to your sweater, Kelly, where you've got bands of different texture. So it really
it's like a
keeps your
sampler dress.
interest. Yep.
Very nice.
So it is a DK weight. However, the DK that was used in her pattern page was Peer Gynt and Sand and Scarn Sunday, which I actually find those to be almost worsted weight.
Yeah.
And the stitch gauge is 20 stitches, which if it is a DK, it's a heavier DK.
Yes.
So like I usually think a DK is about 22 stitches, or where I like a DK to be. So I am actually doing it in the Barocco Vintage DK. So again, I had to do math and change sizes. So this is the yarn that I'm using. So this is the Vintage DK. This is the color China Doll, which I love this color.
Yes.
And I just have it started. So I'm doing him the size 3-4, but that's to get a size 1-2.
Yes.
So
I knit Miles a cardigan in that color, and it's just amazing on little boys.
So there's you can't really see too much of it yet, but there's just the back started. So the first little texture was just dots, and then you get up into here and it's like a broken 2x2 rib. Yeah, so it's really, I think it's going to work up quickly. Yeah. Again, so can't say enough about the Barocco DK Vintage for kids stuff. Yeah. And I think that this color is almost like, I know it's like a goldie, but it's almost like a neutral, because it will go with, it'll go with green, it'll go with brown, it'll go with denim, it'll go with black. So it's kind of almost like a neutral. I think it would be really cute with like a little brown plaid shirt under it, which I did happen to see and might be able to get. Anyway, so that's for Declan's birthday, which is in a little over a week. So that'll be easy, I think, hopefully, to get finished up. And then my last whip, I started a new sweater. It is and I keep calling it it's the Calm Down cardigan by Lily Kate France. I keep thinking it's Be Calm or Stay Calm, but no, it's a Calm Down.
I like that pattern.
Yes. And here's a picture. So it's got some really nice details in it. It's you can see up on the shoulder seam, it's kind of got like a band of rib in there that goes down, that you start off with the saddle shoulder. So it kind of goes down and then it goes all the way down the arm. And then if you look, I'm just going to take the name off there so you can see it better. But if you look, like the shoulder seam has that. So it's just nice little details. And she tells you how to pick up like on the slip stitch edge. And then the body of the cardigan, it's got a double knit button band all around it. And that's probably why it's Calm Down or Be Calm or whatever it is. Again, I've already forgot. Calm Down.
Calm Down.
So it's got that double knit button band all the way around. And then you can't see it so much in that one picture, but the hem is a little bit notched. So it is fairly oversized. But my gauge is a little bit tighter than what the pattern calls for. So it won't be quite as oversized. So what I'm doing it in is, because I really wanted to get, I don't know if we were talking about this last week or not, or I was talking to somebody about it, and I really wanted to get this cast on. So this is the dye Gilpin. Yeah, and this is the Lowland. This color is called Flame, and it is 100% lamb's wool, spun in Scotland, spun in Scotland. And there's 175 meters in 50 grams. This is a DK weight yarn. So that, again, is one of those ones where the spin is lofty and traps a lot of air in it. And I've got it to the point where I'm on the body.
Oh, fun. That looks great.
This color. Now, what color? Okay, so I know it's called Flame. What color would you say that was?
It's a red, but it's an orange red.
Okay, because I said that I'm thinking it's like an orangey color, and Ross go, no, that's red. I'm like, it's not red. Like I guess I always think of a red as a blue red.
Yeah, but I call it like a poppy red. It's definitely got an orange base to it instead of a blue red. Yeah, it's gorgeous though.
So this yarn feels amazing, like absolutely amazing. However, I have found it's a little bit splitty because it's
okay.
Let's see if I can find an end of it here. like the twist in it is not very, it's quite loose, which probably gives it a lot of the airiness. And I think it would be better for me if I was knitting this on a wooden needle with a duller point.
Yes.
Because I'm
probably.
using my Chai Goose, but because I've started on the Chai Goose with the sharper point, I'm not going to switch it for this item. But the next item I knit, and I will be knitting more with this yarn, the next item that I knit, I will use wooden needles on it and see if that makes a difference. Yeah. So I'm just trying, like, I've noticed it before, and I'd see where I'd catch one half of the yarn and I'd have to ladder back down and pick it up.
Okay.
I had to do that quite a bit, but I'm being really careful with it now. And every time I do 2 rows, I kind of go back and have a look at them and make sure that I haven't. And that's, I have to focus more and kind of look at the knitting.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. While I'm doing it. But again, I think that would improve greatly if I used a duller needle. And I think because it's a DK weight gauge, that wouldn't be a problem.
No, so it's nice. It's really pretty.
Yeah. So I really like the color. And now, having said that, I was all through Ravelry looking for a pattern to knit. I'm like, what do I want to knit? Finally, I came up with this. Well, you know what? I just started it and I didn't even look at the yardage requirements.
Uh-oh.
And now I'm looking at it going, I'm probably going to need another ball of yarn.
Oh no.
So, but I don't know because
is that what you got from the Knitting Loft?
Yes, and they have it. They have it, and it's commercial yarn. So even if I had to use, like, even if it was a different dye lot that I had to use for around the band, I think it would be okay. But I've already cut out, like, in that armhole depth is actually quite long. I have already cut out 10 rows out of that.
But you're also not used to knitting something that is oversized for your frame.
No.
Right? So
but I think that it's also not going to be as long as the, and I'm not that much off the yardage that I want to get more. Like this is, I've only used 2.
Okay.
2 50-gram skeins so far. And I have 6. Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see. You might be
fine.
Yeah, I might be fine. I thought that before when I was working on the cardigan, the Little Love, and I thought I would need more, and it ended up I was fine. So we'll see. I know where to get it if I have to, but I can't. After I started, I thought, I can't even believe I didn't look at that. But I thought, oh, I found something that I really like, and I know when I'm going to knit it in, and I just didn't even look. So,
yeah. Apparently, Calm Down with the Taylor Swift song.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's maybe where the name came from.
Okay.
I would say she's in the right age group that she could definitely be a Swiftie. So yeah, it's quite possible.
Yeah.
Quite possible.
But yeah, it is a really nice, it is oversized, but it's like the details are just like really tailored almost, right? Even though it's an oversized cardigan. Yeah. So
it still has nice details. Yeah. It's not just like oversized and sloppy. It's intentionally oversized with some lovely finishes.
Yes. And so I did get this yarn from the Knitting Loft. So before we go on, or not, I did get it from the Knitting Loft.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it anywhere else or not.
Okay.
Scotland, I guess. I think actually when Lisa was over in Scotland, I think she got some in Scotland.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I do have it in several other colors, and I'm really going to like the garments that I get with it.
Good. Good.
Okay. That's it for anything that I've worked on. I haven't touched my smoked orange. I have to get back to that too. So. Okay.
Yes, I stand corrected. Any age can be a Swiftie.
Can be a Swiftie. That's right. Because Zoe's only 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
going back though to Lily Kate, I think it was yesterday on Instagram, she actually posted like a carousel, her entire story of how her life progressed. I mean, she's young. Okay. She's a young woman. How her life progressed and to where she is a knitting designer, like all of the things that she went through to get there on her way. It was quite an interesting little story. So if you're on Instagram and you'd like to know Lily Kate's background, she sort of laid it all out there yesterday, and there's a lot of layers to that girl, a lot of layers. I was quite interested to read through.
Yeah. So. Yep. Okay.
Just reading comments. So, Joy's asking if anybody knows where she can buy Knit Picks Felicini in Ontario. Only from Knit Picks. You can order it.
It's not available. I checked. It's not available on Knit Picks.
It's not available.
Now,
They
Knit
bring
Picks
that out
does
as this,
sometimes bring things back.
that's a
So they
special
might.
edition yarn, so they
Yep.
may bring it out. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah. And Sonder yarn too. By the way, Tracy reminded me, I did see this yesterday. Sonder yarn is having a 20% off sale. She thinks it's until midnight tonight. So
okay.
if you or anybody is looking for some Sonder yarn, 20% is a pretty good deal.
I know. I looked and I just thought, I just can't. Can't.
There is,
Even though there are beautiful yarns on there. There are beautiful
There
yarns
is a red that I've been chit-chatting with somebody on Instagram back and forth because I made a comment a few weeks ago about how it's hard to find a good red. And she was telling me how beautiful this red is. And I know, and it's called Flame. And I do know that it's a beautiful red. And I have looked at it before and haven't pulled the plug on it. So she prompted me yesterday when the sale came on and she said, oh, there's a sale. It's 20% on Sonder. And I'm like, oh, I don't know that I can justify. I mean, it's bad enough that I said I have so much yarn already that I need to knit up. But I mean, right now I can't even knit. I have no business buying. So
well,
yeah.
they will be at Knit City Montreal, but
they will, but it won't be
20%
20% off. I know.
But they really get to see the color in person.
I've seen it in person. I love the color.
Okay. I didn't know you'd seen it in person before.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So did you buy anything this week?
No, I didn't buy anything. We received something, but I didn't buy anything.
We did.
So did you buy anything?
I did not buy anything.
Okay. So should we talk about what we received?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we were very lucky, and a viewer from Germany who actually has an Etsy shop called you have the card.
Yeah. The Woolly Sheep Family. And that's her Etsy information. We will link it.
Yep.
And she is Michelle Eileen.
And so she had contacted me before Christmas, and actually she sent this parcel out to us like at the beginning of December. But of course, with the postal strike and everything that went on here, we actually didn't get it until just like a couple of days ago. So, and it was just beautiful and no words.
Very kind. Very kind. Yeah.
Very kind.
Surprising. And yeah. So do we want to talk about what she sent?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. She actually sent us yarn for us, but then she also sent us some yarn to give away and some stitch markers to give away. So the yarn, the minis feel amazingly soft.
They do.
I don't know what kind of yarn. We don't know what the colors are beautiful.
She calls this gingerbread.
Yeah.
But how beautiful with some, like, when I saw this, I'm thinking colorwork socks for sure. Or, I mean, it would be a beautiful gnome too. Because this color you could use for like the main body and then some pretty colors. But there's some super cute little stitch markers to go with. And she put them in a nice little bag, which we tore open, but we will repackage. Okay. Because we want it to show you the stitch markers. I'm sure. Give the person with one hand this job, Noelle. Okay. Show you them. So there's 3. I don't think I can get all 3 up at the same time. Maybe I can. Okay. I can get 2. Maybe I can do 3. There we go. No, he's not going to sit the right way. Okay. Sorry. So there's a little tree. There is, this is the cutest one. Honestly, that is just the cutest. Look at that. Little bear in a sweater. And then the bells as well. But
which match the yarn perfectly.
They match the yarn perfectly. We've got, the little bear, the bells, the gold bells, and then the green tree.
So you could do your little gnome, and then you could, the way her hands go, you could hang one of the little stitch markers. Yeah, that would be really cute.
She could be holding on to this cute little bear.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cute. So we're going to save this though, right? We're saving this for our make-along in the summer that we do Christmas in July. So you don't have to wait till Christmas to get Christmas colors. We'll be doing it Christmas in July. Yeah. So it's so lovely though. Such a lovely, lovely, lovely colors. Thank you so much. And then she sent us some goodies too.
Yeah, some sock yarn that she has in her shop. So one of them was a sock yarn that came with that she's got a mini that she's perfectly paired up the minis with.
Yes.
So there's what I have. So this is Hot Socks, Grundle Hot Socks Christmas. So this is a 4-ply superwash, and it's got the natural colored mini with it. And then Kelly, yours is
the Yuletide by West Yorkshire Spinners. And this green, and look at that, like that green is it's perfect. It is perfect. So I'm really excited about that.
So those definitely, I will be getting Christmas socks with this for next year. And mine are going to get done. I'd say that and mine never get done, but anyway. And then she also sent us each a skein of this opal yarn, but this is opal DK weight yarn. So it's sock yarn, but it's DK weight. It's a 150 gram ball. And then there's kind of a picture on the, I can't find it. Wasn't there a picture that showed kind of what it looked like on the?
There is on mine. So
there is on mine too, but I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
Okay. So you can kind of see what it looked like, but it feels amazing.
It does. It's so soft and like 150 grams. So, and then this one is the Opal Winter Sun, and there's, it's gorgeous. Like I love this pink and the little bits of orange. And then there is a picture of the striping sequence on it too. I'm really thrilled with it.
I think maybe it's worsted weight. It says 20 stitches and 30 rows, or 20 stitches and 28 rows. Gonna have to look at it some more.
Oh, maybe it is then. 8-ply, maybe it is.
Anyway,
okay.
you could still knit it in some pretty nice socks. So you could also, she had said in some of her messages, you could also use it like to do a cowl or a hat.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
so
that'd be a beautiful hat.
Have to be socks, but because it does still have the nylon, you actually could do socks with it too, which is nice.
It would be a beautiful hat. I love this orange and pink together.
Yeah. And then she also sent us little stitch markers. So mine were little, whoops, stop moving. Little gingerbread men. So the one's got a little red bow tie. And then this one's got, he's just a little bit different with his bow tie and a couple of buttons. They're just so cute. And they don't weigh that much. That's nice too. So if you're putting a progress marker on your project, it's nice to have something that's not too heavy.
Yeah. And I got a little sort of woodland assortment. Very cute. First, there is a little mushroom.
Yeah.
And then there is like a flower. And then the cutest thing of all, which I love. Look at this. A hedgehog.
Oh, that's cute. That's so
it's
cute.
So stinking cute. I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
So
cannot wait to knit again.
No. Anyway, so thank you very much, Michelle Eileen. That was such a lovely surprise.
Very kind.
And
yes. Yeah. It was a nice pick me up yesterday.
Yeah. Yep. So okay. So do we want to talk quickly about?
Yes. Okay. Marissa answered that question. Kathy was looking for the Sondra yarn Free Spirit.
Oh, the Free Spirit color.
That's the color. That's this color. And then somebody else was looking for the Felicini for February gnome. What color are you looking for and how much? I have like half a skein left, I think, of the ones that I used. What were the ones that I did? The Mystic Waves socks. And I have half a skein.
Michelle is in here tonight.
Michelle, yes. She is saying that it's more of a worsted weight.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you could make slippers.
I could make slippers. If I could only knit, I could make slippers.
Zip, I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, zip up on the slip up there, Missy. Anyway,
one day you could make slippers.
Yeah, someday I could make slippers. Yes. So anyway, once again, the Woolly Sheep family, and we will put the links to where you can find her.
Yeah.
And also to follow her on Instagram if you're interested.
Yeah.
And speaking of Instagram, we've got our names down below. That's where I'm most socially active at this point in time. There's a lot of changes going on, but I'm still socially active in there. So if you're interested in following along on things outside of the podcast, that's a good place to start for us as well. Okay.
Okay. So we should quickly talk about our knit-alongs.
All right.
Okay, we have 2 knit-alongs going on at the moment. So the first one is our sock knit-along that goes for the whole year. And there's like, what did I tell you? Over
107 pairs already.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you told me?
Yes, it is what I told you. I don't know what I was thinking. I know what I was thinking, because we wanted to get to 5,000 pairs. That means we have to get, on an average, 600 pairs a month.
Okay.
But I know a lot of people are more towards the end of the year when you get back into winter knitting.
But it's also towards the end of the month where
when people finish,
we always see a big jump in there. So yes.
Yeah. So that's our goal for this year. We want to try and get 5,000 pairs of socks. So for the Makealong, all you have to do is finish them. You can have started them 5 years ago. We don't care. As long as you finish them, you can put them into the knit-along. And it can be worsted weight socks. It can be DK. It can be ankle socks. If you do kids socks, I think we'll say 2 pairs this year. If you do kids socks, 2 pairs will count as an entry. So every month we do 2 prizes. One is a pattern prize that's gifted to us by Natalie Sheldon, who is Natalie_remembrances.
Yes, we got it.
And thank you so much to Natalie for doing that for us. And then we usually have a sock yarn prize as well.
Yes.
So when we draw every month, we go back to the beginning of the year. So the more socks you get in there, the more chances you have to win a prize. Okay. And the next one. Okay.
And the next one is the not selfish knitter Makealong. So all of our gift knitting is done. We're into January now. It is time to knit for ourselves, or make knit for yourself, crochet for yourself, make a project for yourself, weave something for yourself, whatever you want to make. That's all good as long as it's for you. Although
no, we said it didn't have to be for you.
It doesn't have to be for you.
That's right.
Because it could be that you're just really joyful at giving something away. Yes.
Because that's everybody talks about, like this time of the year is self-care. So if it's something that you're totally really enjoying knitting, if it's for someone else, that's fine. I put all the details. I did set up the Ravelry thing, so the details are all in there. So you can check it out. But we did say for this one, no whips and a 50-gram minimum of yarn.
Right.
So,
and Lee is saying self for her equals a Sophie scarf and silk cashmere. Yes, it does. Yes. Way to go, Lee. Absolutely.
So
yes. Okay. Kathy says she never makes anything for herself anymore. Well, this is your chance, Kathy. Make something for yourself. So.
Or Kelly wants a sweater. You could make a sweater for Kelly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right.
So
you're bad.
Well, this is actually, I'm back to making some things for myself. Like before Christmas, a lot of the stuff that I made was for other people. So
yes,
and I have in my mind, I so loved Sheila's garland with all the little mini socks in it, that I'm really tempted. I was figuring out how many I would have to make a month to do 5 of them.
So, don't do that to yourself. Just make one for your own house.
It's only 12 little socks a month.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Knit one for your own mantle. Leave it there. Just leave it there.
Anyways,
let it go.
We'll see. I haven't talked myself out of it yet. I just think it would be fun. They wouldn't take that long to make. Anyway, we'll see.
It's going to cut into your ball time. It will cut into the knitting of the ball time. That's right, Sarah. You're exactly right. She says everyone can enjoy it when they come to your house.
I guess so, but
Joy, yes, the Felicini is micro striped.
Yeah. So, Okay.
Can I share? I can share a page, can I? Hold on a second. Talk about something else for a second. Let me pull something up here. See, you do this to me all the time.
No, I don't.
Okay, hold on.
You're usually talking about something.
I'm in here. Hold on. Let me go back to. Can you see it? Are you looking at it? Okay. Let me go back. Here they are. This is the something else I haven't updated my photos on. I've taken the photos, just haven't done them. There you go. Joy, that's the micro striping of the colorway that I have. And I think I have, what do I have left of it? I didn't even use half a skein. I used 42 grams. So I've still got about 60 grams of it. So if that would help you out for your gnome project, you are welcome to it. Okay, remove this. Back to the right size. There we go.
Okay. Okay. So I think that's it.
I think that's it.
I think we're good. I think I need to go have some roast beef.
Yeah, Isabel,
I'm coming over.
You're coming over. We're going to see Isabel in May. I can't wait.
We are. I know.
We are going to Knit City, Montreal. I think we've talked about this before, but it's an event that we really enjoy going to, and we can't wait. Yeah. We cannot wait.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
We've been talking about
she said,
it.
Come on down. Okay, let's get in the car.
Okay, let's get in the car. Be there in 10 hours. If you got your neck light charged, so you can knit all night while I drive.
That's right. Because you can't knit. So
I know. Keep reminding me though. Yes.
Anyway, what a pair they were. We were just before Christmas. She couldn't knit and I couldn't walk.
I know. We should have coordinated a photo. Me and my arm cast, you and your foot cast. It would have been a great thing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, okay. Yes, Marissa, we can't wait to see you either. And Dana and all of our friends in Montreal. We cannot wait. We cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. So, okay. Yes.
Okay. So
we're doing the Canadian goodbye now.
We are.
It's going on and on and on.
So anyway, thank you all, everyone that is here tonight, and thank you for everybody that watches after the fact. We really do enjoy doing this and connecting with everybody, and it's
best night of the week for us.
It is. Yeah. So take care, everybody, and hopefully you all have a good week. Happy knitting, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Take care.